I will go ahead and get started here. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening. So just a reminder that this will be recorded and we will be posting this to the STEM Forward website sometime within the next few weeks. If you have questions throughout, I'm sure Mike and Katie will provide opportunities to ask questions. Otherwise, I will be happy to monitor the chat as well. So if you have questions, you can put those in the chat and I can try to keep an eye on those and ask those questions. So either way. And then also just a reminder that the CEUs will be sent within the next few days after this event as well. I would like to thank IBM for sponsoring this event. We very much appreciate their support through this, but I'm going to introduce our speakers. So Mike Schnell is one of our speakers this evening, and he is the Community Engagement Coordinator for Southeast Service Cooperative. In his role, he helps boost experiential learning opportunities by connecting students and teachers with business and industry. And I'm also happy to welcome Katie Hendrickson, who will be speaking tonight, and she is a career navigator working with schools and communities across Southeast Minnesota, focusing on connecting students and educators with business and industry partners and resources. Katie relies on her background in educational communication. Her passion is helping students explore their interests with career-connected learning opportunities. Katie is a graduate of the University of Kansas and has helped her 3 children in figuring out their next steps in life. So welcome again, everyone, and I will turn things over to Katie and Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. We'll get started. I'll share my screen here. So the first thing that we'll do, and that's just the introduction of what we're doing and why we're here today. We're here to talk about a little bit about what we do at Southeast Service Cooperative and specifically how we work with student, parent, and employer engagement, how we do that with experiential learning, and how that works with STEM education. So the first thing I want to know is who's in the room. So one of the things Katie and I talked about when we were speaking about the presentation before is just the fact that we're very much, you can kind of, if you have a question, feel free to pop in at any time, but we are looking for a little bit of, especially with a small group like this, we're looking for interaction between us and the group. So the first thing, I would love to know who's in the room, just a little bit about you and why you chose to come to this session. That will help us as we're kind of moving along to make sure we're talking about the right stuff. So.
Kevin, do you want to go ahead and start?
I can do that. I am Kevin Cardell, Superintendent of La Crescent-Hoka Public Schools. I came to this session because this is, I guess, some interest in career pathways and readiness and direction for students. It's been, I've been an administrator for 23 years, and that's been a very solid interest of mine. So I want to hear what you have going on.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we, I believe that Marianne Smith and Nick Wobig are the career navigators working with you, Kevin, and also with you, Nathan, too. Is that correct? Excellent.
Marianne and Nick are, I know
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, Nick is a former student of mine from the past. So, yeah.
You know, Nick has so many connections in this area. It's so fun to always hear about his hijinks in the area. We'll just say that.
Yeah, he is that. Yeah.
And Nathan, how about you? Do you want to continue?
Sure. My name is Nathan Bowler. I'm the middle school, high school principal in Caledonia, Minnesota. And, you know, similar to Kevin, I just really want to focus on trying to strengthen those connections between school and the workforce and really find that right path for each student. I think that the pendulum's kind of swung here and there as far as, oh, you need to go to a 4-year college. Oh, this is the right way. And I think it's just important that we provide a pathway for all of our students based on their specific needs. So anytime that I can pull in more resources to help those students, the better. So that's why I decided to join this one.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Teresa, how about you?
I work with Rochester Public Schools. I'm the job developer there for our special ed program. So I just wanted to learn and be a little more familiar with FutureForward.
That's wonderful. Have you spoken with Mike Schnell, who's on this call before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Okay, great. I was going to say, if you have not, he is your man in Rochester Public Schools. So great. And Jody, thank you for joining us. Would you like to do a quick introduction?
Sure. I am from Chatfield at the elementary school, middle school level, and just learning about the things that we can do at the middle school level here to help promote career paths. So just taking it all in.
That's so great. I am appreciative that you are here. Getting into this type of topic at the elementary level is super ideal. So, so good. I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie, and thank you all for joining us. So now that we have a pretty good idea on kind of what everybody is looking to accomplish, we can kind of get in and we can direct what we're going to talk about a little bit more to make sure that we're touching on the specific needs that you all talked about there. So the first thing I am, and this is going to call for a little interaction. In my mind, we have one single most important question that hits everybody: educators, employers, students, parents. It's the same question for all of them. Do you guys have any idea what that may be? What your single biggest question is that you would think about for those groups?
Feel free to put it in the chat or feel free to unmute and blurt it out.
So when I think about this, I think the single most important question that needs to be answered by everybody is, what are your goals? What are you looking to accomplish? What are you trying to do? Because that really directs everything you're doing from there on out. And when you're working with an employer, as a school, if you're looking at it, what are the goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Well, maybe you're trying to provide that experience for a student to see if that's something that they want to do. If you're an employer, what are you trying to accomplish? One, you may be trying to accomplish just doing good for the community. The other thing you are looking to accomplish most likely is trying to fulfill that workforce pipeline to make sure that is set for everybody as they're moving forward. So those are the things that we're looking at. And each of those different groups has a specific thing they're looking to do, but it all stems off of, what is your goal? What are you looking to accomplish? And that's what, if we start with that question, it's the old, I guess I'll call it old, Simon Sinek thing. Simon Sinek always says, start with why. This is basically the why. What's everybody's why and what are they looking to accomplish? So that's where I think all of these conversations need to start. And the question is then, why are we doing what we're doing right now with so much focus on experiential learning, with what we're doing with FutureForward, with what we're doing with the career navigators inside of the schools? Really, what is the reason for that? And the reason is that we have systems in place that work for industry, that work with parents, employers, and schools to try and continue that connectedness and really connecting students and their parents to experiential learning opportunities, all so we can attract and retain a new quality, good workforce as we're moving forward. If I'm sitting in each of your chairs, one of the things that you're looking to accomplish, and I can almost guarantee this without having asked any of you, is trying to keep more of your local students local, to make sure that you're filling the jobs that they have there, making sure that that community stays strong. And then, you know, kind of like Kevin talked about before, what's better than having an experience with a student that you had previously? That's really what we're talking about, and that's what we're looking to accomplish with what we're trying to do. So one of the things we're talking about is getting community buy-in. One of the things that I really want to expand community buy-in to is, I don't just want to think about everybody you meet at the Rotary Club on your standard Wednesday. I also want to think about, what about all of the parents? And that could be, parents can be a tremendous asset for you because they are in the community, they have connections. The parents might have connections that you don't know about, and they have things that they specifically want to accomplish and things that they specifically want to do. So you want to work with you want the educators to get out there. You want to make sure your educators are meeting the community partners, to make sure that they're meeting all of those different employers. And then how do you take those connections and really turn that interest that everybody has? You have, Katie and I can both tell you from conversations we've been having over the last year, that if you talk to an employer, there is very little that an employer wants more than getting a quality connection in with a school. And when we're talking to educators, what they say is, we really want to have that great connection with employers. So you have both groups saying they want the same thing. Their goal is the same. They want to try and accomplish the same thing. But many times, I can speak of this from when I worked at the Chamber of Commerce, which is where I came from before I came here. It's almost two ships passing in the night. You have two groups that are trying to accomplish the same thing, but many times they don't speak the same language. So even though they're trying to accomplish the same thing, they're really not getting it. So they're really not getting it so far. Then the last group, interestingly, the last group that we really think about trying to engage is, where are the parents? How do we engage the parents? Because the parents are in those businesses that you want to engage with. And they obviously have a connection with their student. They want to make sure that their student is succeeding. How do we engage those parents and do the things that we need to do as we move forward? So those are the things that we at Southeast Service Cooperative, specifically the Career Navigators, Sarah and myself, those are the things we talk about, and those are the things we are considering. Is that the same sort of issues that you see? Are those your biggest issues? Are those the things that you're looking at and looking for on a regular basis?
And Mike, I had someone, just to jump in, I had someone in a meeting yesterday just really talk about exactly that, and kind of thinking of it as a three-legged stool with the student sitting on top. And we really just need all of those legs, those three legs, which would be, you know, the schools, the employers, and the parents, to be really stable foundations, so those students can sit on top and just really be supported. So in getting to those next steps. So it's my little illustration of the day there.
I love anytime we can have a good three-legged stool analogy. I think we're doing pretty well for ourselves.
That's right. That's right. There you go.
You know, I think that's what it is. So as we're moving forward, how are we going to do that? How are we going to get community buy-in? And one of the ways we're going to do that is a tool that we've talked about a little bit. You've probably heard from your career navigator if you have one. If you've been talking to me anytime over the last year plus, you've heard about this, and it's called FutureForward. One of the things that I didn't talk about before, but I think is important to touch on here before Katie kind of gives a demonstration of what FutureForward can do and what it is we are right now working with our developer to create a parent portal inside of FutureForward. So one of the things that we hear right now is this is great, but how does this work for the parents? What can the parents do? How can they see what their student sees? So we are looking at doing a parent portal inside of FutureForward that is going to give a parent read access to the information on their student. So they're going to be able to see what kind of opportunities their student may have. They're going to be able to view the videos that they have. They're going to be able to see the lessons that are on there. They're going to be able to see what's coming up in the school week, but they're not able to sign their student up for anything. They can encourage, but they're not able to specifically do those things themselves. They're not able to make any contacts as a student, anything like that. So it's a read access that's going to allow them to see what their student sees, to really make that, close that loop a little bit, to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So that's one of the things we're working on with FutureForward right now. And I'm going to turn it over to Katie, who's going to talk a little bit more about FutureForward, and I'm going to stop my share.
Perfect. We're trading screens here for just a moment. Okay, can you all see my screen? Excellent. Don't judge how many windows I have open. Thank you. So, you know, I know that Kevin and Nathan and probably Teresa have maybe seen the tool up close. Jody, how about you? Have you? Okay, that's what I thought, because since you have more in the elementary and middle school, and this is really a tool, it's a web-based tool then that was soft launched into schools in the fall of 2020. And career navigators and Mike, we all pushed this tool into our schools that we all work with. But simply put, as Mike was talking about FutureForward, it's an online tool for connecting educators and students with business and industry partners for experiential learning opportunities. And in the end, the goal is to just really help build a workforce pipeline that's robust for our students as well as the businesses here in Southeast Minnesota. So, and again, I'll just underscore what Mike just said. Important note, we will be adding a parent component to this tool. So look for that fall, winter, Mike. Is that kind of what we're thinking?
That would be my, in a perfect scenario would be, it would be ready to go when everybody is back for school in the fall.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work quite that way, but fall, winter, I would say for sure.
Excellent. And again, you know, just thinking of my three-legged stool analogy, being able to add parents to have some access to this tool, certainly not being helicopter parents and being able to, you know, sign their students up for things, but being able to use the tool as a conversation starter with their student, just to see, you know, watch some videos with their student is, you know, a perfect scenario, I think. So big picture on the educational and school side, the education and school side of things, FutureForward allows connections to be made with employers for different types of career connected learning, including engaging businesses for guest speaking and presentations in the classroom, for informational interviews, for job shadows, internships, for mentoring, all those types of experiences and more. Teachers can also connect with other teachers in the tool They can connect with professionals who can offer their expertise for guest lecturing and for lesson plans. And then, because as my job and Mike's job as I'm a career navigator, I work with schools, but I also work with businesses. And so we have to be able to give some really good reasons for businesses to work with us and to partner with schools. And for them, it's a win for them for developing a talent pipeline. It's a win for them for informing schools on what makes top-notch employees in their various industries. It's a win for them to be able to help develop curriculum to create a highly skilled future workforce in their industry. And it even helps them to recruit students for work experiences. So these are the types of like, hey, businesses, you want to be a partner because these are the opportunities that benefit you. And it's a total win-win situation for both parties.
So I 100% agree, Katie. What could be a really easy win for schools is try and find a business partner to come in and talk about soft skills. You know, talk about what's needed to work at a job. What are the things that are needed? Showing up on time, acting respectfully, all of those little things. That's something that you can grab you can grab a business professional, a company owner in your area to talk about, whether they own a restaurant or whether they're an engineer, they're working on the same thing. So those soft skills may be a quick and easy win, no matter what level of school you're at.
Yep, that's a really good point for sure. So in the tool, currently I am signed in. Can you see my mouse move? You can, can't you? Okay. But I'm going to, so I'm signed in, I'm going to go to the search tool, which looks the same for everyone who's signed in, whether a student is signed in, whether an educator is signed in. And we just can, as you see, we can search in a lot of different ways, depending on what my goals are. So if I'm a student who wants to watch videos on a particular job sector, I can easily go down here to watch career videos. Or I can search for a professional who I want to talk to about veterinary science or whatever the case may be. Or find a company that's in my area that maybe is a real estate agency, you know, and it just goes on and on. So if I want to narrow down my search, I'm going to go to career videos here. And if I want to, there we go. If I want to narrow down my search, I can just use one of these filters, and I can filter by industry or by company, or even by keyword or profession. I could put a keyword in here. If you see it, by the way, when I clicked on industry, it does show the 16 career clusters. So companies are broken up in that way. And there's a wide variety of companies in the tool. You can see here that there are 269 local company videos in that's in our area in Southeast Minnesota. So that what's important to take away there is, so this is important and relevant information to our students. These are companies that are here just down the road and in our area. We can also click on local professional videos and we can search there. You can see there's 160 professionals who have videos in the tool, and it's growing, by the way, every day. I think yesterday this was at 159 videos. So these videos give students bird's eye views into specific roles and overviews of companies. And we have heard that teachers and students have found these videos to be extremely valuable during this year of past limited activities, in-person activities, and even going forward as we start to kind of loosen up, you know, as people are getting their vaccinations and we just have a little bit more in-person times. We know from schools that these will still be valuable tools going forward. So I'm going to switch over here to being a student in the tool really quickly, because I want to show you one more thing. Here I am, a Dover Yoda student. I'll get rid of that, so she's a little bit private there. And you can see that I still have the same search options here, all of these things here, but I also have a few other things that resources right here within the tool. And that's a nice feature. Everything is here in the tool. I'm not switching around and bouncing in and out of different things. I can just go right into FutureForward. I can do my research. It's all right here. So it's a one-stop shop, basically. So over here on the right side of my screen, I have the Learn About Careers link. And I also just got kicked out, but I'll go right back in, no worries. I refreshed that right before I started, but here we are. So here we are. Again, I see all of these 16 career clusters, and I can choose a career cluster that I have an interest in, and then I can have access to information from the Minnesota State CareerWise about many of the career paths. So if I click on health science, for example, I've got all of these different health science careers that I can go into and learn about the pathway. I can learn about how much money I would make, and I can learn about all of the different careers, or many of the different careers that are in that career cluster. And I'm going to go back one screen. Actually, I'm going to stay in that screen, and I'm going to go back one arrow click. And again, 2 arrow clicks. Talk amongst yourselves. It's user error.
So one of the things that's likely happening right here with Katie is because she is trying to show both the professional view or the school site administrator view and the student view.
Probably
the technology itself is kind of having a brain freeze a little bit. If you are in as one thing, you don't have those same kind of hiccups. So that's one thing to think about.
Yes, this is true. Okay, well, I'm back anyway. So I also, just again, directing your attention to the right side of the screen, Career Experiences is another great resource for students to look at. Here for April, it looks as though this is all of the opportunities that students have to connect with professionals and companies in real time opportunities. I can see everything that's coming by that simple click on the Career Experiences. So for April, it looks as though there were some opportunities to learn about different colleges and universities. It looks like McNeilius, for example, is having some events to highlight summer and full-time work employment opportunities. So that's great. Students have to click on that and register for that. And again, I can also use the filter here to filter by any type of the 16 career clusters I would want. I could filter by the event type if I wanted to find a job shadow or internship provider. I could even filter by radius to keep it kind of close to home. So lots of different ways that to search this information. And again, a parent component option for this tool is in the works. So it's clear that this could just be a conversation starter for a parent to talk to their student about their interests, about post-secondary planning, about exploring future employment options and relevant statistics about, hey, so you want to go to school, how much is it going to pay when you get out of school? So anyway, I am going to zip back to, does anyone have any questions, by the way, about anything they've seen here in the tool at all?
So, yeah, I wanna touch on just a couple of things. One that I want you to know that from a professional side, you cannot see any information about any students.
Good point, Mike.
So all of that student information is completely locked down. It is anonymous to make sure that we don't have any information that shouldn't be getting out. So that's one thing to know right off the top, that security aspect is something that we've considered from the beginning. And we wanted to make sure that this was as secure as possible. The other thing I kind of want to touch on, and it's, it's a little bit of a stretch from where we're talking about, but we are, as we move forward in FutureForward, going to be getting down into that middle school and elementary level. We're not there today, but you can see the aspects of where it's going to be, what it's going to be, what kind of things you're going to have on it. But there are some specific things that we would likely do to make it a little bit more user friendly for an elementary user than what we have going right now. So it's just something to think about.
Good point. All right, back to our slideshow. Just talking about next steps. So some of those next steps would be finding out if FutureForward is being used at your school. Mike and I can definitely help to answer that. And we can point to who your career navigator is, or which most of you already know. Jody for Chatfield, would that be Mike? Mike, is that you?
No.
Okay. No. But we could find out who would best be the person for Chatfield. We always do advise that training for FutureForward is a really good option to do, and Mike and any of the career navigators are happy to do that. For me personally, for my schools, I hope to offer that to them this fall as some professional development as before school gets started. I know sometimes that's a very busy time, but I would love to take 15 minutes. And I suggest that you each, whoever is going to be using FutureForward in their schools, ask your career navigator to come and just do a brief training with those teachers. 15 minutes is a great amount of time, and they will be able to use the tool well with some training. So definitely recommend that. And we're happy to just walk new users through it anytime, even beyond beginning of school. And again, just let us know what your goals are. We're happy to have a conversation about your goals. We're happy to help you develop plans of implementation using FutureForward. We're happy to help you fold it into using what you already are doing and into your existing lessons and activities. Mike, anything to add, and then any questions?
No, nothing necessarily. I looked up Chatfield just because I was interested, and actually right now your school is not utilizing FutureForward. So if you want more information on that, we can certainly talk about how to utilize that. Now, one of the things that I really stress, and Katie has probably heard me say this so much that she wants me to stop, but FutureForward is a tool. You can think about it like a shovel. So you use a shovel for a specific thing. You make sure that you use your tools for the things that you want the tools to be best used for. And that's the way to think about FutureForward or any experiential learning opportunity. And FutureForward is just the conduit. It's just the tool. What we're ultimately trying to get to is help you get those connections with employers, help you keep those connections with parents, help you get your students the experiential learning opportunities that they need in order to move forward. And FutureForward is just the tool that's going to help you do that. So FutureForward by itself is a great tool, but it is just that. It is just a tool. But one of the things that's amazing, because it is a web-based digital tool, is last year, if we were to have looked at FutureForward last year on this date, there would be no video component to it at all. The video component came in because there was a need by our schools, from our schools, because of what was going on in the school year, to have those videos as a part of it. And now we have close to 1,000 different videos from both local companies and national companies that students and teachers can utilize for their learning experience. Those are the things you can do with digital tools, but ultimately we need to know what those goals are. You need to know what those goals are so you can make sure that you point people in the right direction.
That's us. Feel free to get in touch. Mike, you are wearing another jacket and a tie, so.
But I am wearing the same lapel pin. So
yeah, that is true.
Got that going.
Yeah, there you go. And then you'll recognize, some of you will recognize a few more of our team members there. But any of us are happy to help you at any time with FutureForward or any of your questions.
I've got a quick question.
Yes.
So if you're trying to tie in a concept, like you're teaching a certain subject in math or science, and you're trying to get students to realize, yes, you do need these in the workforce. Can you just type out a question, can you demonstrate how you use geometry in your workforce, and then just shoot it out to all the businesses and try and get some interest who will come in and talk about that?
The answer to that question is yes. There's also another feature of FutureForward that we didn't dive into because there's just a lot, but the topics feature is another great one that you can look for specific topics that are along the lines of what you have, and you can find specific professionals that you think may be utilizing that specific skill in what they do. So let's say we're looking at trigonometry. One of the things that I know that most people don't necessarily think about, in order to be an electrician, you need to know trigonometry. So you can now all of a sudden reach out to the people from the electrical union. They can come in and talk to you about exactly how that specific skill is utilized inside of their work. So there certainly is that opportunity to do that. And you have the ability to reach out to a specific professional, or you can ask a question that goes to multiple professionals. So you can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions we can help to answer?
Well, thank you all for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with KDI at any time. Our information is available on the SSC website, or it's available on this presentation, which is going to be mailed to you later on with all of the information about this. But we appreciate you coming in, and we hope you gained a few insights that will assist you as you're moving forward.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
You.
Thank you.